guys, we're gonna just be talking about the BCM here a little bit. I'm still at the range, so there might be some shots that might be picked up on the camera. I do apologize. So I've done a review on the BCM already on the channel, so I'll put that up, somewhere in the video. But I'm just gonna briefly talk about it. So we're just gonna be talking about if there's been any malfunctions. Then we're gonna talk about the things I really still like about this firearm. And if you are you are in the market for a rifle, I'm just gonna put some information out there. And then lastly, just quality and build quality, like let's say from this to an Arrow or a Daniel Defense, and the price point you kind of pay for all this. So as always, gun is empty, gun is clear. So that's the first thing to always remember, that we make sure we handle firearms in a safe manner. Anyway, I believe I mentioned this in the beginning of the video or somewhere in this video, that the only thing that's been changed is the handguard. So we went from a key mod, and we went to a M-LOK, and then obviously we just changed the rails. We just put BCM rail covers to kind of help with keeping heat away from our hands when we are shooting. Does it do a big difference? Probably no. It's more of a placebo, but that's what we did add, and nothing else was really changed from the 6 months ago or 8 months ago you saw this. But anyway, still flash hider, so it's still pin and welded. But and then if you do ask, it's a EOTech EXPS 2-0, one dot in there. So the EOTech still works great. But anyway, we're gonna just talk about what I still love about this firearm. Most importantly, I think the biggest thing that's really won my heart over is the weight. Now that I've been able to kind of expose myself to more rifles in the industry and being, running and gunning with some of them, the weight, honestly, granted I know it's a 14.5, is extremely, extremely light. I think BCM puts stuff that you need, and they kind of leave all the other Gucci stuff kind of out there, and you can upgrade it yourself if that's something that you want. But overall, I think the biggest selling point for me now would be weight, especially if you're a newer shooter and you don't want an 18 or a 16. Obviously you could get a pin and welded 14.5 and kind of save some weight, and granted, if you just have to get this removed if you decided to go through adding a can or something like that. But weight has been my biggest thing with this firearm, is it just works, and it's extremely lightweight, especially when we're out here running and gunning. So that's been my biggest selling point. So the next thing I'm gonna be talking about is kind of personal preference, obviously, is the BCM upper, the radius of the upper, basically. Hence why it's probably so lightweight, is just because it's a tighter radius around the barrel. But that's just something that I'm not the biggest fan of, is just how small it is. And the biggest reason why I don't like it, and I know this is extremely nitpicky, but maybe to a newer shooter this might be somewhat useful, is obviously your hands are a lot closer to the barrel. So when you are shooting, or you and your friends go out and you only have one rifle per se to shoot, the barrel's gonna get hot pretty quick and your hands are gonna get a little toasty. Wearing gloves obviously kind of helps, but that's just one thing to kind of take into account, is obviously your hands are just a lot closer to the barrel. It's not the end of the world. It keeps the firearm pretty light. But like, for example, the Arrow upper that I did a few weeks ago, it has a little wider of a wrapping around the barrel, just kind of keeping your hands away from the barrel actually, and allowing to keep it cooler a little bit. So like I stopped shooting about, I don't know, I'd say 5 to 8 minutes ago, and I can still kind of, not that's like burning my hands to the touch by any means, but I can still kind of feel the heat from the barrel. So that's just one thing to kind of take into account. Not the end of the world, just something for a newer shooter, or if you live in a hotter state, that's something you should take into account. Like I said, not the end of the world by any means, but yeah. And then lastly, we're gonna just talk about how it's held up, and just like quality wise compared to some other firearms. It is handled extremely well, and there's been no catastrophic malfunctions by any means. The firearm, it seems like we just kind of got it still, and I still really do love it. Quality is still top notch. Obviously, once you buy a BCM, honestly, and probably a lot of people will kind of mention this too, you really don't have to go any higher than a BCM. I think you get what you need in these things, and they will last. I really do like I do actually like BCM's it looks like a Magpul pistol grip, but it's obviously theirs. I really do like it, and it still does a really great job kind of keeping your hands on it with the kind of stippling they have on here. So besides that, obviously it is handled extremely well, and you know, there's been no, you know, any catastrophic malfunctions to any kind. We've put roughly 3,000 rounds, and we even did some testing that I obviously didn't record during the winter or anything, but we roughly shot it 1,000 rounds without cleaning it. We put lube around the 550 mark round on the bolt carrier group, obviously, in the charging handle, and it still performed very well. Now we kind of maintain it a little bit better, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do have some exciting videos coming up, hopefully sometime in July. So if you do enjoy this video, enjoy the review, the update of the 3,000 round BCM and how it handled, please consider subscribing to the Patreon. That kind of definitely helps make me be able to kind of provide some videos for you guys, and being able to get some new firearms for you guys that are kind of trending or new, and hopefully being able to make a video on those. So I will link my Patreon down below. That's honestly the only way to support me. Obviously I don't make any money on YouTube, and this is done at my own will, and yeah, obviously I'd really appreciate if you guys would subscribe to the Patreon, and you guys get to see videos a little bit earlier, and you guys can kind of tell me what videos you'd like to see in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you aren't, get out there and go train. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you guys have a good day.